exciting video for you. Today is going to be the season finale of all the Beakly News episodes. Now, I'm sure y'all future 7th graders are going to be great taking care of this, and I know y'all are going to do just as good as we are. So, as you can tell, I am at my house, and this COVID-19 thing has trapped us in our houses, but we still are putting in a wonderful video for you all. So, without further ado, let's get started.
This is Corny Jokes with Neely. Who is the dessert's favorite actor? Robert Brownie Jr. What do you call a round green vegetable that escapes prison? An escapee.
Hi, I'm Aubrey, and today I'm going to be making Granny's cinnamon sugar crust. You will need 1 1/4 cup of flour, 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/2 cup of salted butter that is cold that has been sliced into tiny pieces, and finally a 1/8 vinegar and a 1/8 water mix that you will not yet add into the mixing bowl. You should mix the ingredients until they're combined well. This is what it should look like when you're ready to start. Slowly add the liquid, a tablespoon at a time. You might not use it all. When the crust is formed a ball, it's ready to roll out on your floured surface to about an inch thickness. 1/8 inch thickness. Make sure your pin and your surface is floured. When your dough has been rolled out, use your rolling pin to transfer your dough onto your cookie sheet. You then melt some extra melted butter you will then coat your dough with a light extra butter mix. Make sure it is plenty melted before doing this. You will then add your cinnamon. That's cool. And your sugar. And put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Cool, cut, eat, and enjoy.
What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Can you believe a guy just threw a glass of milk at me? How dare he?
How to make my favorite chocolate cupcake is you're going to set your oven to 350 degrees. Now you're going to line your cupcake pan. So what I did is I just put some plain white cupcake wrappers in a pan. Now you're going to take your olive oil or cooking spray and you're just going to spray them all and put them in the pan. Your second step is you're going to pour in 1 1/2 cups of water and you're going to set it on the oven to boil. Okay, now that your water has been boiling, you are going to add your 1 cup of cocoa and whisk it in. So I'm just going to add my cocoa. Then I'm just going to whisk it in. Okay. So after you mix in your cocoa mixture, you're going to mix all your powders or flours in. So we're going to mix in 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to mix in 1 teaspoon of salt. And this is in a separate bowl, not your cocoa powder mixture bowl. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 1/2 cups of flour, and 2 cups of sugar. And you're just going to whisk it all together in a large bowl. Okay, so your next step is you're going to mix all of your liquid ingredients ingredients into your dry ingredients. So you're gonna start off with 3 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of, or actually 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, my bad, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 1/2 cup of sour cream. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but this is what makes your cupcakes super fluffy, and I don't know if these cupcakes would even taste that good without the sour cream. So then you're going to mix it until it is smooth on just medium speed. Okay, so now that you've mixed all your liquids and your dry ingredients together, you are going to mix in your cocoa and water mixture. So you're going to have to be very careful with this because it's still really warm. And your batter will be really liquidy when you get done mixing it in, but don't worry, it will not affect your cupcakes. Your cupcakes will still cook fully. So I'm just going to add this in. As you can tell, it's very liquidy. And now that we've added that all in, most of it in, we're going to close our mixture. You're going to turn it on very low speed so it doesn't go everywhere. Okay, so your last step before you put it into your cupcake liners is going to mix it up real good. So I'm just going to kind of like fold it. It's kind of complicated, but I don't know how to describe it, but you're just going to fold in your mixture just in case there's a little bit more of that white mixture under it. But most of the time, I just want to check and make sure. And then, as Gordon Ramsay says, you always have to taste it. So just taste it. Tastes good. Since now you've mixed all your ingredients together, you gotta put it into your cupcake liner. So I'm just using this picture thing. If you don't want to have one around your house, you can go to Walmart and get one, or your grandma or one of them may have one, because I know mine uses it for cookies a lot. So I'm just gonna scoop it into one of these cupcake things, and then I'm gonna go through and do it all again, and then if I don't think it's enough, I'll do a little bit more. So now that you've mixed or put your batter into all of your cupcake liners, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna give it a little drop just to get all those air bubbles out of the cupcakes, and then you're gonna bake them into the oven for 18 minutes at, again, 350 degrees. So now is the next day, and I have left my cupcakes out to cool overnight, and I made just over 4 dozen batches of them, and now it's time to ice them. The first step to make your icing is you're gonna mix in your 4 cups of powdered sugar. Try not to get it everywhere. You're just gonna do a little pinch of salt, and you're gonna mix in 2 sticks of butter, and you are going to mix this until it's smooth. Now we are going to add our vanilla, and I'm adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract into this. And by the way, we're making a vanilla buttercream icing. And we're gonna mix it until all of the vanilla is in there and you don't see any more of it. So now that you've added your vanilla in, you're gonna add in your milk. Now your milk, you will not use all 1 to 2 tablespoons of it. You're just gonna add it in very slowly until you have your desired texture. And you're probably, if you're gonna put it on cupcakes, you're gonna want it thick. So you're gonna barely add any at a time. And you're gonna mix it, and you're gonna wait till it's all mixed in to see what the texture is like. And then you may wanna turn it off, your mixture off, and check it and see if you like that consistency or not. And I think that's good. I may do a teensy bit more milk, but I think that's good overall. So now that your icing is your desired consistency, you are going to take a spatula and put it in a piping bag. So this is not a necessary step. You don't have to put it in a piping bag or anything. You can just like spread it on the cupcakes using like a butter knife or something. But I like to do mine in a piping bag because I think it makes it a little bit fancier. So yeah, and I use a star tip and I put it at the end of my piping bag. So now that you've put your icing in your piping bag, you're just gonna pipe it onto your cupcake. So I just leave it in one spot and squeeze the top of the piping bag. And then I'll do this on you. But then, since they're chocolate cupcakes, I wanna add a little bit of extra chocolate. I'm gonna take 3 chocolate chips. Again, this is not necessary, I just think it makes it better, and put it on the top. Okay, so now that your cupcakes is done, you can taste it. It's so good.
This is Neely Nelson, and for my Something Sweet segment, I'm going to be making a cinnamon toast. So the first thing we're going to need is the recipe book. So the ingredients are 1 stick of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then of course you need toast. So we're going to go ahead and melt this butter. Now that the butter is melted, we're going to pour it into the mixing bowl. And then the next thing that we need is 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay, so now that we have our sugar, we're also going to pour it into the mixing bowl. The next ingredient will be 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Here's 1 teaspoon. And then we're going to get another teaspoon. We've added both teaspoons of the cinnamon, and now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of this vanilla extract. Now that we have all the ingredients in here, we're just going to mix it. When you're done mixing, it should look something like this. Mine is a little dark, but that's okay. It varies in how dark it is just depending on if you got exactly how much vanilla you were supposed to and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter how dark it is. It just matters that it's stirred up well. It doesn't matter exactly how many pieces you make. I usually just make it until this is gone or until you run out of pan space. But the next step is to spread this bread all over the pan, see how many pieces we can fit on it, and then we're going to spread that onto the bread. Now before we spread the mixture on the bread, be sure to preheat the oven to 350 so that it can kind of be preheating while you're doing this, and then once you're done, the oven will be ready. Okay, so now our cinnamon toast has spread. Some mixtures are more soupy than others, so I had to use a spoon to scoop it out, and then I poured it on the bread, and then I used a knife to spread it. So if you have to do that, then that's how you do that. So what we need to do is bake at 350 for 10 minutes, and I already preheated the oven. And then we're going to broil for a couple of minutes, so 2 minutes. They just got done baking, and now they're broiling for 2 minutes. Okay, the cinnamon toast is done now. So we're gonna get it out. And here is what it looks like. That's how you make cinnamon toast. Thank you for watching Something Sweet with Chef Neely.